Hey folks, it's Kai here, and it is Friday, and yeah, lots going on that I haven't really had much of a chance to kind of process and sit down and just be quiet with everything that's going on from my professional coming out to uh, working with my family, moving through stuff there, and then also the real exciting stuff that's really distracting me from work and being productive is my upcoming surgery, and is 1 week away. One. This day, next week, I will be without the top part of my current chest landscape. And I'm like, yeah, I have moments where I just am so excited that I have to like run around and dance and just like flip out. And then there are moments where, I'm quiet and I'm at peace and I'm excited, but in a calmer way. And then there are moments where I get scared too. Like I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna, be put under, and yeah, it's 3 hour outpatient procedure, but still, anyways. So there's lots of things that I'm like thinking and going through, and I had a really candid conversation with my mom last night that was really it was a new conversation, and I was really touched by it. In that, I understand her care and concern, and I feel her love, and I know that this scares her to death, what I'm about to do, and she's not had a lot of time to kind of come to terms with it and be at peace with it. And so, I totally understand that she's telling me to put the brakes on this, and I was able to provide a lot of spaciousness, and could kind of hear her in that, and meet her in that, and hold her in that, because it really is. This is not lost on me that this is a big deal, and the gravity of the situation. I want to respect it because there's a lot going on here, and so I it was really interesting that you know she cried, and because I think this theme of grieving is a really apropos one for her, and one that resonated when I spoke. I was like, Mom, you can grieve, like this is a totally legitimate thing. And that's when she started crying, and it's interesting, what's coming up for her, and then what's coming up for me, and my big thing is, I have uh, triggers around being a bother, or rocking the boat, or upsetting people, or being a troublemaker. Like all of these things are messages that I have in my head that they're mistaken beliefs, and I have an opportunity to move through those and understand that they're not based in reality. But still, they're very raw for me in terms of like, oh, I don't, for me, I've accommodated. I've been very accommodating most of my life, and I look to appease and to make things easier on other people. And this is one of the more difficult ones in terms of I have to, or I feel very strongly about my path forward to um, to the degree that I need to, allow people to do what they need to do, but also I can't factor that into my decision making, because if I did, I'd be waiting a long time, until people come to terms with it. And so, I am moving forward, and despite a lot of caution and concern expressed by others, and I totally understand that too. So that's just like, for me, it's not a zero sum game anymore. It's kind of cool that I can have my way forward, and they can have their feelings, and they don't cancel each other out, right? They can kind of coexist, and it's very energy consuming. Like it takes a lot of emotional wherewithal for me to hold that space and to show up and be present for hearing that, and all the while also having enough strength within myself to keep going, right? Because like a lot of the surgery stuff, while it's very exciting and I am like more than 100% sure, it still takes energy to get to that line, right? And so I'm well aware of kind of all this stuff that's going on, and I really do love my mom so dearly, and she means a lot to me. And I know we've not seen eye to eye on a lot of things. That's the understatement of the century. But that said, I think the things are slightly different this time around in that we're both willing to keep coming to the table to talk, right? And still allow for each one to have their own, piece, right? And honoring that. And I do respect their religious beliefs, and I respect that they are coming from a place of deep concern and deep disagreement, and I'm fine with that. And I'm also really thankful that she was able to recognize that this is something real, like what I'm feeling inside is real, and that was that really felt good. That acknowledgement that I'm not making this all up. That actually helped a lot to, yeah, for like, because I am not. This is so real and so raw and so urgent, and I was able to even explain that from my perspective. I could delay this surgery, and then I extrapolate into the future, and I see this dissonance between my body and my mind, my mind and my heart, growing and becoming more and more aggravated, and to the point where it already has affected my well-being, but it'll increase in its rawness, right? And the same thing. I don't want to make an analogy to something negative, but I had kind of a similar experience with identifying myself as alcoholic, right? Like I hadn't lost everything, and I hadn't, I wasn't drinking daily, and I wasn't. There's all these things that I didn't lose, but that said, I was, I could connect the dots and then, have a downward trajectory, and I knew where I was headed. And without a doubt, I would have landed there if I had continued, right? And so I decided to short circuit that and shortcut out of that downward path. And for me, it's the same thing in terms of I could wait for another, whatever year and then come to the same conclusion. And I already know that I'll have the same conclusion around this. And so for me, it's just prolonging a suffering that I'm not willing to do. And I have a very strong sense of myself, and I'm going forward with that. And I have a lot of confidence in it. And so, yeah, it was just this very beautiful conversation, and it was very mutually respectful, and I'm glad for that, even though it's a really tough conversation to have. And then I had just a wonderful experience at the conference. And, one of the things I really relished was hearing my voice on the mic. And it was, because I would stand up during the conference and ask questions to kind of engage in discussion and dialogue with fellow practitioners. It was the International Association of Impact Assessment. And I would stand up, and the mic, for whatever reason, like magnified the bass aspects of my voice, and so it probably made it sound deeper or more boomy than it actually is. But it was just it was so exciting. So I spoke with a lot of confidence and with assertion in a way that I haven't really before. I'm a fairly confident public speaker, but I think it was something that I kind of relished, rather than more like, oh, I have to do this, and wanting to kind of hide and hold back, or wish the voice coming out was different than what I was hearing. But this time I really liked it, and I kept like prolonging my questions, hoping to keep hearing what I was hearing it was just like this is a boom to it, and I just loved it. Oh, it was so much fun. Anyways, so that was my little excitement, and I handed out new business cards with my name on it. Yeah, so that was pretty exciting. And for some reason, I can't figure it out. It's a pretty cool logo. Anyways, so that felt good, and I caught up. I caught people up, like people I knew, and they really didn't have any issue. It was just more like, oh, okay, cool, well, good for you, and congratulations, and they were just like, on to discussing business opportunities or collaborations that we could do. So I was like, I think there's something to be said for, if you do your job well, then I mean, I'm sure there's other complicating factors in other situations, but for this field, your deliverables or your productivity speaks more than kind of the exterior. Anyways, I don't know if I'm making sense. A funny story. I was hanging out with my friend and this female friend, and I kind of explained everything about my transition. She was really interested, and we were at a restaurant, and then both of us got up to go to the bathroom, and we were chatting along, and I headed for the guys' bathroom, and she followed me in, and then I was like, I didn't know how to kind of broach the subject, so I was like, don't follow me, don't follow me, and then she realized where she was, and she was like, oh, and then she like booked at it. It was just like a force of habit, because we had traveled together before, so I thought that was pretty funny, and she had a good laugh at it too. So yeah, these are all these cute moments in transition that are heartwarming. Anyways, I am so tired. This is like similar to my last week's post, because there's just so much going on, and now I'm a tired boy, and I'm gonna head to bed at 9 p.m. on a Friday night. Look what my life has become. Anyways, I hope everyone's well, and we'll talk to you soon.